Order the October 8th board meeting for Competitive Edge Charter Academy. I'd like to note that we do have two board members who are not present. Board member Debbie Miller and board member Sharon Bannister are not here. We do have board member Bob Miller, board member Kathy Cote, and myself. I'd like you to now stand with us and ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One 1.04 is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by board member Bob Miller and a second by board member Cote. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. Do we have any public comment for CECA? No. Okay, hearing none. We'll move on to 3.01, our advisory committee report. Mr. Mead.
I'd like to introduce Angie Gray.
And Ms. Gray, welcome.
Thank you.
Who's here this evening despite being a Dodgers fan. I have to get it on.
I feel your pain. Yeah. Welcome.
Good evening. At the October PCAP meeting, we discussed the following items. Tier 2 positive behavior intervention and support professional development is taking place. Joe reviewed our Tier 1 progress and our current 2-tier interventions. He explained that the purpose for professional development is to ensure the quality of our current system and to make any necessary updates based on the discipline data. We discussed the outcome of the grade level CASP and STAR data meetings and the main outcomes and actions that are resulting from the discussions. This Friday, teachers in grades TK through 2 are going to take the LPAC interim assessment, and teachers in grades 3 through 8 will be taking the interim comprehensive assessment for their grade levels and subject groups. Dr. McLaughlin shared her current grade level schedule. She spends each week collaborating with grade levels on the upcoming week's lessons and any data that she co-teaches, lead teaches, or observes the following week and provides feedback. Our weekly attendance letters that go out to families if students have excessive absences will now be shared with their teachers so that they are aware and can follow up on their side via their classroom communication. The team discussed staff +1s for the year and how they will be used for more individual feedback from administration and from IB coordinators. The new scoreboards in the NPR that document leaders in playground tickets, STAR results, and attendance were shared with the group. They have a football theme. In the housekeeping section of the meeting, we discussed dress code systems, independent study protocols, our treat policy, the library book list, and some parking issues. Any questions?
I'm glad you took care of the treats and the parking issues. Those are key. Anything else, Joe? No? Okay, any questions or comments? No, thank you, Ms. Gray.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Is there any item that any board member would like to have considered separately on the consent calendar? Okay. No, hearing none. Is there a motion for approval of the consent calendar as presented?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar as written.
I'll second the item. So I have a motion by board member Bob Miller. I've seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. Any additional administrative information?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Or comments? Mr. Miller? No, sir. Ms. Coe?
Sir.
Okay. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Gray, for being here. Thank you, Joe.
Good job.
We're adjourned. We'll re-adjourn our regular meeting at 6:30. To order the October 8th regular Board of Education meeting for the Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District. If you wouldn't mind standing and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will note that both board member Sharon Bannister and board member Debbie Miller are not in attendance tonight, but we do have a quorum with Mr. Miller, Ms. Coate, and myself. 3.04 is the approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as presented?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda as written.
I have a motion by board member Bob Miller and a second by board member Coate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. I do have 2 items to read out from closed session, and I will do that right now. In closed session, the Board of Education took action on a motion made by Mike Snellings and a second by Bob Miller, followed by a 3-0 vote to provide approval to legal counsel of a settlement of existing litigation against Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District for case number 202-407-0967. Also in closed session, the Board of Education took action on a motion by board member Bob Miller and a second by board member Coate, followed by a 3-0 vote to provide approval to legal counsel of a settlement of an existing litigation against the Yucaipa-Calamasa Joint Unified School District, case number 202-407-0442. Okay, now we're moving on to item 4.01. And this is our district student voice leader making a difference, Ms. Spinks.
Thank you, President Snellings. Last year, we started our first Making a Difference in the Lives of Every Child platform with Ella Aceves, who spoke at our kickoff this year. And so we're really excited to introduce you to this year's student voice leader, which is Brady Mae Gunn. She's a senior at Yucaipa High School. She's involved in everything, including really involved in the yearbook. And you can stand up, that's okay. We're gonna make your way over to the microphone. And she's gonna talk a little bit about her plan. Now, President Snellings and I had the opportunity to meet Brady Mae and talk with her. And I think, I'm sure you have a few things to say, but I think you're the perfect person for this. So it's gonna be an exciting year.
Welcome, Brady Mae. It's good to see you again. Do you recognize me tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I want to make sure. She saw me at the football game. She thought I was a coach. So anyways, welcome, Brady. We're glad that you're here. So go ahead.
Okay. As student voice, I would like to get testimonies and information from all the students across all the campuses to see what they think to improve their education, to improve their education environment, just so that they can thrive in any way. Should I start over? As student voice, I want to go and talk to all the kids at all the different schools in the district across all the campuses so that I can receive testimonies and information on how they can have a better education, how they can thrive in their environment, and how they can just succeed in their schooling. And there's some information detailed on how exactly we want to do that. That's kind of it. Do you guys have any questions?
No, I will tell you, Brady, we're glad that you are welcome to do this. It's really important that we have students representing students and going out and trying to get information from our kids about their experience in school. And I know that you shared with us some of your experiences. I won't get into that, but you did. And so I think you're the best candidate and a great candidate to be able to do this. So welcome aboard. Any other board members?
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Just want to share a little bit about the conversation that Brady Mae and I got to have. And one of the things she said over and over in her interview was how much she loved working with kids. And so this just seemed like a perfect fit. But I think that she's going to take it to the next level because she wants to, besides working at each individual school site with groups of kids and getting their experiences, then she wants to take that and work with the teams at that school as well so that she can share on their behalf some of the things that they really love and some of the things they'd like to experience, and then also work with departments within the district so that we can better our services for our students. And so she's got a lot of work to do. And we talked about also increasing her presence as a student voice leader at Yucaipa High School because it's so big and there's so many different groups of students that might have a different perspective. So making sure and she's pretty well versed in being in different groups, but she's going to spend a lot of time. So Ella had half a year, Brady May has a whole year. And so we're going to support her as she goes out, and then she'll have an opportunity to meet with all the faculty and answer questions for them, and then maybe give our teachers and our classified staff the opportunity to give feedback to her about some of the questions they might have. So we're really excited about the project this year.
Okay. Thank you, Brady May.
Thank you guys so much.
Don't feel like you have to stay here for the rest of the meeting too. If you want to check out, you can do that.
All right, bye guys.
Okay.
My ride has to get here first.
Okay, now we're moving on to 4.02. This is Yucaipa Calamasa Youth Chess Federation making a difference. Ms. Binks.
Thank you, President Snellings. I'm going to ask Mr. Bradley to come forward and talk a little bit about our Making a Difference Award recipient this evening. And this actually was in the making for the last board meeting that got canceled due to the fires. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Mr. Tony, who's doing some amazing work and what he did over summer school.
All right, thank you, Superintendent Binks, and thank you, President Snellings, members of the board, members of cabinet. So school's back in session. That means we get to start recognizing our amazing staff and students again. And I'd only spoken to Mr. Tony as he goes by through email, but you can just tell even through his email that he has a warm, kind, and gentle heart. And then when I met him tonight, that immediately radiates off of him. And so he started this amazing project called the Yucaipa Youth Federation, the Yucaipa Calamasa Youth Federation. And it started small at Calamasa, and then he decided to work summer school. And during summer school, it grew even more. He was able to offer it up to secondary grades, and it's been such a hit with our students, and it's grown so much connectiveness. And he's even gone as far as to spend his own funds on buying personalized trophies for the kids so that they feel like they accomplished something at the end of a tournament. And so moving forward, we're going to help him do a district-wide Yucaipa Calamasa Youth Federation tournament and try to get more students involved and just let them interact with exactly who Mr. Tony is. And a perfect example of who he is this gift that he gave the district office that says, "Teamwork makes the dream work, all my all until the day I fall." And it says Mr. Tony right there at the bottom. And so now we're going to give him the opportunity to hang something at his office that demonstrates exactly who he is, and that's a Yucaipa Calamasa Joint Unified School District employee that makes a difference in the lives of kids.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, board members. Thank you, Dunlap team. If it hadn't been for that team right there, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. They've been helping me, from day one. Ms. Strive, shout out. My SCI teacher, Mrs. Saluja, they've been, helping me out along the way, backing me up. So I want to thank Ms. Callie, the board members, Dr. Anderson, everybody. And I'm gonna leave here before I start crying. So I appreciate everybody coming. Thank you. Yes. One of the things growing up as a kid that helped me growing up in the inner city of LA, staying out of trouble as much as possible, was chess. And I don't know why it caught my attention, but it did. And when I went to Mesa View for summer, I started noticing that some of the kids were, not paying attention, not really getting it together. And instead of just walking away saying, you know what, I don't have to be here or anything like that, I was like, let me stick it out, let me see what I could do. Set up the chessboard, and the rest was history. They took to it and they loved it, and the teachers got on board. They're like, hey, you know what, I asked the teacher, if you guys want to play, make sure you get your work done. Then I said, let's get a tournament going. Let's get a pizza party going. And then when a student told me, you know what, Mr. Tony, thank you. And if it hadn't been for you, I would have just showed up just to show up and kill some time. I wasn't really here to do any work. That got me. So I was like, you know what, let me take it up a notch. I went out, I designed some trophies, and they loved it. So now I'm trying to see if we can get other schools involved, other elementaries versus elementaries, or high schools, or even districts. So I would love to challenge like Moreno Valley, Riverside, Redlands, you know what I mean, and just get that going. But yeah, no, thank you. This is just the beginning, so hopefully I can do more. Thank you.
We appreciate you so much, Mr. Tony.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, thanks again.
Thank you, thanks for being here.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you, board. Thank you, those in the audience. I'm here tonight to recognize 2 small but mighty groups of employees who are integral to what we do here as a district. They're so important. I also appreciate them for their flexibility, because we originally had plans to do this in September, but it didn't happen that way. First, I'd like to call up 2 employees who work in payroll, the amazing Melissa Snow and the amazing Hannah. Come on down, please. Here for a moment. So these 2 ladies, for those of us who work for the district, are the ones who pay us. So it's kind of important. In September, there is an important week called National Payroll Professionals Week in the entire United States. It's obviously a group that matters to the whole country. But on behalf of the board and Kevin and everyone else, for Hannah and Melissa, we just wanted to extend our thanks, our appreciation, the hard work, the countless hours, the deciphering of timesheets, the answering the phone calls that people call you and they have really complicated questions. The 2 of you are really good at what you do. So on behalf of everyone, I just wanted to say thank you very much, and we have these certificates to honor you for your work with us. Thank you very much, ladies.
Good idea.
1, 2, 3.
Congratulations. All right, so continuing on that theme, September, there was also a day that's close to my heart, HR Professionals Day. There's actually a day for HR professionals, which was really important. And an HR, small and mighty and important team, so I'm gonna invite up 3 of the members of my team, if I could have Jesse Wills, Angelica Shavira, and Jill Casavan. Come on up, please. So we did have a 4th member of our team who actually got promoted and decided to be a teacher, and we're excited for her, but if you're wondering, like, why are there so few? There was 1 more. But these 4 ladies, Jessie for classified personnel, and Jill for certificate, and then Angelica, who does everything else. These are an amazing, powerful, very key team that does all those little things, maybe from the day you first applied on it, joined for a job, or if you were a community member and you were interested in employment opportunities in our district, all the way to Jill working on credentials and working with the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing and all those intricacies, and then just the whole work of making the department work. Thank you, Angelica, for that. These ladies are my right and left hand and everything else, and I couldn't do my job without their key support. So we wanted to take a moment tonight, ladies, to say thank you very much for your time. Congratulations.
One, two, three. Okay. All right.
Thank you, ladies.
Congratulations to all of our recipients of recognition. Now we're moving on to 6.01. This is public comment. I do have 2 requests for public comment. We'll start with Michelle Dawson. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I am Michelle Dawson. I am a TK teacher at Dunlap Elementary. We wanted to just highlight a few things that are going on at our special elementary besides Mr. Tommy. We are lucky enough to have him. He is our cheerleader at all of our spirit meetings, and he is amazing. So what you saw up here is only a little part of it. The first thing I wanted to talk about was I have been there for all of my 22 years of service at Dunlap. Recently, I became a TK teacher last year and have found my calling. It is like my place. I wanted to talk about one of the main things that is big going on right now at Dunlap is our PTA. Since I have been at Dunlap, our PTA has almost been non-existent. We have had maybe 1, 2, 3 people that have joined it, and then it's kind of filtered down. This year, we have a huge PTA and parent involvement. A lot of that, I think, has to do with our staff has finally solidified as a whole group, and we have a great leader in Mrs. Tribe that has brought us all together. And I think the parents see that and they feel that, and so now they are joining on and joining our team. I'm nervous and I don't know why. I usually only speak in front of 4 and 5-year-olds and I sing and dance, so maybe that's what it is. And I want to get this right. So one of the biggest things that it showed up for our PTA was recently we had a fundraiser, our color run. We raised for our school, which is a very small school. We're small but mighty. We're the smallest school with the biggest heart, is what we like to say. We raised over $15,000 for that fundraiser. Now we get a small portion gets taken out for the company, but we get it is the largest fundraiser that we have had since I have been there ever. And I am in charge of some of the funding, so I know what comes in, what goes out. So it was really exciting for that turnout. And we had so many parents, little ones, babies, grandmas, grandpas, that came and ran with us and did the whole entire thing. It was just such a neat event to see them all come together. We have a trunk or treat that our PTA is putting together coming up in a couple weeks. We also started at Dunlap the house system. It's very brand new. We're kind of following suit. I believe it's Valley is doing it. So we're kind of following suit in that, and the kids are really excited and the parents are involved in all of that as well. I just wanted to share with you because we went through a lot of struggles and there was a lot of complaining, and at our site, it really has become such a great family again. I've seen it highs and lows and come back up to being such an amazing school, so I wanted to come and share that all with you. So thank you.
Michelle, thank you so much for coming. Now we have Dawn Madrid. Welcome, Ms. Madrid. Sorry.
Here for you.
Good evening, President Snelling, Superintendent Binks, members of the board and cabinet. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. It is a privilege to gather and celebrate the incredible work happening in our district, driven by passionate educators who are making a profound impact on their students' lives. I'm just popping in to highlight and showcase some of the amazing things our members are doing every day to make a difference in the lives of their students. Every day in classrooms across our district, educators are not just teaching, they are inspiring. They are cultivating curiosity and igniting a love for learning that extends far beyond textbooks. For instance, at CECA last month, you would have observed kindergartners walking the red carpet as they celebrated the culmination of their ABC boot camp with their ABC fashion show, as well as hands-on learning of inquiry into the scientific method using apple volcanoes and real coconuts to learn about the 5 senses. Also at CECA last month, they began their Friday Families, an amazing student-led leadership project that engages all students in the school community. 8th grade leaders organize the activities across the campus. The campus buzzes with excitement as students collaborate on projects that connect them to their daily lives. CECA has an amazing group of educators who go above and beyond every day to make learning fun and meaningful for their students. At Valley Elementary School, teachers worked together to host an inaugural Million Father March. They work with families to build strong community relationships that support the success and well-being of their students. Kelsey Santos at Valley should be also celebrated for her vision and success in the achievement of a grant that will foster a gardening club at Valley. Under the guidance of Ms. Santos and her colleagues, their students are not only developing a passion for learning about science, but empowering them to become world changers. Kelsey says it best in the words of her grant. She said, children have the ability to become future world changers, environmentalists, scientists, doctors, engineers, anything if we invest in them and empower them. The grant will allow her to build character, curiosity, kindness, and passion. It is empowering children to lead and care for things outside of themselves. It's teaching them that the world does not revolve around them, but that they have the ability to change it. Quality teaching is happening at every level. We know we encountered many challenges this last month between the closure of schools due to the massive fires and the outage of the internet from a dysfunctional router. But our teachers never stopped. I spoke with countless teachers who took the time during the closure weeks to check on students via email and Parent Square. They reassured students that things would be fine and checked on their overall health and welfare of the students and their families. I heard teachers offering support to their families and other colleagues that needed help due to the evacuation orders. They were willing to offer shelter, meals, and homes for affected pets and people. Our teachers care about our students because first and foremost, they are compassionate people who have a heart for putting people first, and they make it a priority to build relationships that truly make a difference. As we reflect on these remarkable stories, it becomes clear that the heart of our district's success lies within our dedicated educators. They embody the very essence of what it means to be a teacher, nurturing minds, building character, and inspiring futures. Looking ahead, let us continue to support and uplift these incredible individuals. Let us foster an environment where innovative teaching methods can flourish and where educators feel empowered to ignite the spark of curiosity in every student. Together, we can ensure that our district remains a beacon of excellence in education, one that is rooted in compassion, dedication, and the commitment to quality. In closing, I would like to thank our educators for their unwavering support. Together, we are shaping the future and inspiring our students to reach their fullest potential. Let us celebrate these achievements and commit to the journey ahead, always striving for excellence in every classroom. We would love for you to pop into our classrooms to observe our amazing educators making that difference every day. Thank you. And I'm going to leave you some popcorn to remember that. That's right.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That's really cute.
7.01 is our student board member report. It turns out that our student board member, Josh Breyer, is not available this evening either. So we'll move on to our discussion action session. 8.01 is kitchen equipment at Oakview High School. Do I have a motion to approve the purchase of kitchen equipment for Oakview High School?
I move to approve 8.01.
I have a motion by board member Bob Miller and a second by board member Kathy Coate. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. 8.02 is Child Nutrition Services Culinary Training. This is a 9-day training program for our elementary school kitchens. Do I have a motion for approval? I'll second the item. Any questions or comments?
Just one question.
Okay.
Mike.
Sure.
Just understanding these are high-level chefs that are coming in and assisting with the program, if I understand that right.
Yes, you do. So we are.
Can you speak in the microphone, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Child
Ann.
Nutrition Director, thank you.
Mr. Miller, I'm so happy to be able to explain just a few moments. We are excited to have especially trained in the K-12 setting. We are very unique. And we tried different chefs, and we're super happy to find these individuals who will go into each of our kitchens and teach our elementary leads and their coworker how to create great scratch cooking for our students, and we're raising the quality of our elementary schools. So they are tried and true. I have many colleagues who couldn't say more wonderful things about them.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Thank you, Ms. Van Dam. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes unanimously. We're gonna go on to 8.03. This is an expansion and update of the infrastructure of the data frame at Yucaipa Adult School. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
A motion by Board Member Bob Miller and a second by Board Member Kathy Coate. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes unanimously. 8.04 is the purchase of a emergency management system utilizing, Raptor Technologies. Is there a motion for approval? And I'll second the item. Any questions or comments?
Mike, I wanted to ask
Yeah,
a
go
little
ahead.
bit about, I know we use Raptor specifically, but how is that emergency management system gonna really map with what we're doing with the sheriff's department? I know it has some capabilities of one tap and we can get some emergency communication. How does that emergency management connection go with our teachers and our students, and how we codify the training and make sure we're doing the drills right? Can you just do a summary of why this is important?
Absolutely. It's a gigantic program, especially once it melds with our current Raptor visitor management system, but I'm going to try to make it small. So we currently use Raptor visitor management. I think we've used it for 5 or 6 years. That's when anybody goes to a school site to visit that isn't an employee, they have their ID go in there and it scans them, checks their background, makes sure they're okay to go on campus. This is going to work hand in hand with that, in that it's going to include a panic button solution that can be on your mobile device, or it can be on a desktop computer if an employee doesn't want to use it on their mobile device. And it's going to give just an added layer of security on top of the radios we already have, the phones, the intercoms, and even just yelling out a window help. They can hit the button, it's going to send a notification to the principal. And if it's a lockdown situation or something that requires law enforcement, the principal is going to be able to hit, for sure lockdown, and it's going to send a notification using 911 plus straight to law enforcement. And then that's going to tell them, without having to pick, if it's a lockdown situation, you need to be very quiet. This does a completely silent notification to law enforcement so they can come get on site without alerting whoever is on campus. The other positive with that is the board adopted an MOU with the I Love You Guys Foundation back in October of last year. And it actually matches the icons that are part of the standard response protocol. So the things that we're training, employees at each site on how to do these new five steps in the drills, and students recognizing these pictures, it fits perfectly with that. And then another layer of it is a reunification system. So let's say power's out, we have no access to our computers. As long as somebody has a cell phone, then they're going to have the capability to reunite kids with their families and make sure they're the right family members. So instead of having to go through those paper, the emergency cards, they can see, my daughter, for example, Frankie Bradley, her dad's Lance Bradley, picks her up, and then that sends a notification to the other parents saying, hey, the kid was picked up, you don't need to worry about going to the school during the emergency. And then the final layer is the drill management system. So it's going to help us track our fire drills, earthquake drills, and lockdown drills across each of our schools. And so it's going to not only be a great thing for record keeping, but it's going to be a great thing to remind our school administrators, hey, you didn't do your fire drill that you were supposed to do 3 days ago. Could you go ahead and knock it out this week? So it's a lot. It's a huge system. It also integrates with areas in some of our schools. It's going to be able to integrate with the intercom systems. So if a lockdown is initiated, the intercoms can go off and let everybody on campus know what's going on.
Thank you, Lance. I appreciate it. To our superintendent, I appreciate that you're consistently working on our security.
It's all risk management. We're consistently working on that. You have led on that, and I really appreciate it as a board member.
Okay, thank you, Bob, for those questions. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes unanimously. 8.05 is an amendment to Runau Architects Agreement with Calamasa School and Dunlap Elementary School, and I believe there's been some changes made to an original agreement. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller and a second by Board Member Coate. Any questions or comments?
No.
Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes unanimously. 8.06 is actually a public hearing first, then approval of a resolution. This is related to our TK through 12 textbooks and instructional materials. I will open the public hearing at 7 o'clock. I don't see anybody racing to the podium, so I will close it at 7:01. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution related to our textbooks and instructional materials? And I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. 8.07 is a resolution related to Red Ribbon Week. I practiced that this morning. Make sure I said what, yes. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution related to Red Ribbon Week? I have a motion by Board Member Coate, and I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes unanimously. 8.08 is the purchase of high accessibility Cisco 9500 routers. I believe that we're going to have a short presentation on this before we make a motion. Is that what we're going to do?
Yes, we'd like to invite Mr.
Okay,
Kirkland to
Chad.
come and share a little bit about our routers.
Absolutely. So I didn't know I was presenting that, I was just answering questions, but just to give you a little bit of background. Obviously, we had an event happen a couple weeks ago. Southern California Edison did us a huge favor, and they decided to do a phase upgrade on the new Cane's restaurant going in across the street from Kaiba High School. We had a 7:30 a.m. fire back time to where, things like this happen all the time. We had protocols in place to where we would go on and make sure all of our network comes back online appropriately. Power outages are not new, they're not uncommon, but we put it on our calendar just to make sure that we're prepared. Some event happened where the power did come on briefly, and then it went right back out, and then we got an extension of notice that the power from Southern California Edison wouldn't be coming back on until about 11:30 a.m. So they postponed it a little while. So not too alarming at that particular time. We moved back our calendar, and at approximately noon, 12:30-ish, I got on the phone with our network specialist, Rob Reese, and said, hey, let's go ahead and check everything out, make sure that we're good. We weren't. So things didn't come back online the way that we thought that they would. And so it triggered a series of like, okay, let's go ahead and track the outages and those types of things. And it resulted in about an hour and a half later to where I was physically at Kaiba High School checking out our MDF and our core routers. So Rob joined me shortly after that, and it didn't go well. So we think that there was some kind of power event that had a dramatic effect on our router systems. It dropped our connectivity, which affects literally everything. And it happened to one of the sole devices that impacts the entire district. There's not very many of them. That was one. So we started the process of doing what's called an RMA, getting Cisco systems online, have their technicians, their engineers verify that it was not just a software issue, I think that they could fix remotely. And they said that thing is trash. We'll put a new one in your hands. And we have a warranty, obviously, on our systems. And we have actually an elevated warranty, which says we will put it physically in your hands within 24 hours, which skepticism is obvious in this particular one because we saw it start in Texas. And that was supposed to be in our hands within 24 hours. It was. We received it Tuesday morning. It's 24 business hours, by the way. We received it Tuesday morning, and you would be impressed with your network specialists that we have here at the district office. They were amazing. And within probably 2 to 3 hours, they had it racked, they had it configured, they had every service transferred over to the new system and fired back up to the point where I think we were operational by 11:30 noon that day, and I think we had a parent square out to everybody about 1 o'clock. So Tuesday afternoon, we're back in business. All day Wednesday, we're good. Thursday, we had a defective router. So we actually had 2 separate events that week has affected. So not funny at all, but we just couldn't believe our luck on this particular one. Cisco, again, I acknowledge you have a bad router, we'll send you another one. So that's what we did again, except for this time we were very good at it because we had a practice round. So this particular purchase is because we want to have dual routers in place and something called a cold copy. The first router that was functioning just fine, we believe had an experience because of the power. A cold copy would have been that exact same router right next to the one that failed, powered off. So it's not affected by any of those types of other things, to where if we do have that event, we can literally have it configured, ready to go, and we transfer service. And we could do that in a matter of 90 minutes to 2 hours. So that is a very reasonable time. It can be anything else that we could purchase as far as warranty or services or anything of that nature. So our current router that's working fine, we want to actually be the router that backs up our school sites. All of our school sites also have core routers. Each site feeds to the district core router, the ring that rules all rings. So we want to have a backup and a primary and a backup there. And we also want to have one that can service the sites in case we ever experience that.
Okay.
So that's what the purchase.
Any questions for Mr. Kirkland?
Chad, thanks for you and your staff. I know you guys worked pretty hard on this.
It was a long week.
You know, Cisco's a huge company, but things do fail. I'm glad that we've worked on the redundancy side of the house now. You know, trying to deal with it at the risk management side if it happens again. But could you explain just maybe in a summary when that went down, what actually happens for our educators? What does it cause in the district? I mean, we know, but maybe our audience doesn't know.
I appreciate the question. As a matter of fact, I would have bet money you were going to ask a question tonight, Mr. Miller. So, and I appreciate you doing it because I think it's a fair question and one that a lot of people ask themselves is what is the cost of going down? And I don't know that I personally could put a dollar amount on that, but I can tell you that the instructional side of things, that is greatly impeded. Offices can't take attendance. They can't communicate effectively. Email systems go down. Even though the email system is still working, it's working outside of our network, so it's hard to access. Our teachers can't access their Google Classroom, and we are heavily dependent on being able to do things digitally and set them up. A lot of our curriculum is digital, but you also have the other side of things that you don't see. Our business departments, everybody that works up here in this building particularly, they are all very dependent on the work that they do, having that access. So again, I don't know that I could put a dollar amount on how much it costs to go down for a 24-hour period of time, but I'd be willing to bet it's more than a backup router.
Right. Thank you, Chad.
Okay. I don't believe we've had a motion in a second yet. Do we have a motion for approval? Okay. Motion by Board Member Bob Miller, second by Board Member Coe. I think we've got all our questions answered. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. Now we're going on to 8.009. This is the purchase of photography equipment for Yucaipa High School. Do I have a motion for approval? Okay, and I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. 8.10 is a contract with a consultant for RISE Interpreting. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller, a second by Board Member Coe. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. 8.11 is the second review of a board policy related to alternative credits towards graduation. I'll move approval. Is there a second? I have a motion by me and a second by Board Member Coe. Any questions or comments?
One quick one,
Yeah,
Mike.
go ahead.
Jamie, when I read the staff report, however we get the credits in, it's agreed that the grade that was from the other accreditation, wherever we got that grade from, it has to be posted as the same grade. like we got it from a private institution or wherever we get it from, if it was a B, then it has to be a B.
Yes,
We
that's
don't have any
correct.
say in a reevaluation or anything, right?
No, whatever credit a student earned in another educational institution and they transfer over to our school district, then we honor that. If there's a question on maybe it wasn't a public education agency, or if it was a different type of school in that sort of sense, then we do analyze the courses in that sense. But whatever grades a student earned, that's the grade.
But we have a vetting process, right? I mean, what I understood.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. Now we're going on to 8.12. This is the second review of board policy related to temporary and substitute personnel. Is there a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller, a second by Board Member Coate. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. 8.13. This is a summertime compensation agreement with CECA. Do I have a motion for approval? I have a motion by Board Member Coate. I'll second the item. Questions or comments? Are you good?
Yes.
Okay. All those, I'm sorry. We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. Now we're going on to the consent calendar. Is there any item on the consent calendar that any board member would like to have considered separately? No? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Move to approve consent calendar as listed.
Okay. I have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller, a second by Board Member Coate. Okay. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. Now we're looking at our information and proposal session. I believe, are there any presentations here? I don't believe so. No. These are first reviews of some revised policies that will come back. Any questions by anybody about these? Okay. Hearing none, we'll go into 11.01, additional administrative information. Ms. Binks.
Thank you so much, President Snellings and members of the board. I just wanted to let the board know that as we finish this first month, really, it's been a little different. We had a great start to the year, and then we had a few hiccups, but I wanted to take this opportunity to share with the community and our employees, and of course the board has heard this before, but I really appreciated our partners, our law enforcement partners, our partners in CAL FIRE, and our city partnerships. Trevor Benson is the emergency manager for the city of Yucaipa, and then Grant Malinowski is our fire chief, along with Captain Hall, or Captain Mike Walker, excuse me. They really helped us in a time of decision making, and I appreciate their expertise. And when we're looking at keeping our kids safe, and we're looking at the different things that we do to keep our kids safe and our employees, there's a lot to be considered, and we don't take closing school lightly at all. And we know that not only is it a hardship on many of our working parents, but the educational program is what we're here for. And this is sometimes the best place for our kids to be. So when we're looking at making those decisions, I just wanted to remind everyone how great we have it with our partnerships, because the decisions we make are not made in isolation. I get the privilege of working with a board that is very collaborative, and then also city partners. So when we're looking at things like air quality in the classrooms, ash on our playgrounds, the things that affect not only our kids but our employees, we take all that into account, and then we not only meet with our city partners, but we work with our county partners, the Operation Emergency Services Unit. And so with all that, I know there's been a lot of questions in the community about how we do this and why we do it, but we don't do it in isolation, and I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that, and it gave me an opportunity to say thank you. So appreciate that.
Jim. Okay. Hearing none, board member comments. Mr. Miller.
Yeah, thank you. I said the superintendent did a great summer there, and there was a lot going on behind the scenes that people don't know. I mean, part of your emergency operation plan is we have a little EOC going here that Kelly and the staff are working, because part of your emergency operation plan is you have to have a BCP, which is your business continuity plan, which means you gotta keep doing business. Even though we had to close schools and students were not there, people are still working to make sure we can get things open again as efficiently as possible. We were so blessed to have a great relationship with the city. We're getting real-time info as quick as we can, and then our superintendent's getting information to us so we can make decisions on what to do with the schools. Of course, there's always unintended consequences when you close schools. And I'm sure there were people that had feelings about that. But in the end of the day, we're going to make the best decisions we can for the community and our students, and for health is number one. It's risk management. So thank you to the staff that work behind the scenes. So it may seem that schools were closed and nobody's maybe working behind the scenes. People working extremely hard behind the scenes. 12 to 14 hours days. Our superintendent, 17-hour days with smoke in her eyes, and the staff, just out checking, and our maintenance staff cleaning things and checking everything, and checking all the counts and everything. I mean, just so much was done, the filters, so much was done behind the scenes that we just appreciate all the hard work was done, and you need to hear that. The community needs to know that. I'm sure they know it, but they don't see it like we saw it real time. And the communication was so good that we knew what was happening. And then all our other connections, we're hearing from everybody else. It was all accurate. It was accurate info. And, it's unfortunate that happened, that we had an arsonist do it. They're just silly. And, but it paid the price. So, thank you for everything you guys did. And I just want to, on a positive, it's Chris Redstadt's birthday today. Happy birthday, Chris. And for his birthday present, his Minnesota Vikings are 5-0. I can't believe it. So I just want to say happy birthday, Chris. Skull.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming, and I hope that I don't embarrass her, but we do have a future board member in the audience. My wife and I are moving out of my trustee area, so I'll no longer be on the board, but I'd like to recognize the only person who had the guts to enter into the race for my trustee area, and that's Regina Cruz. Would you mind standing, Regina, just so we can welcome you and thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. Not an easy decision to become a board member in a school district, and there's a lot of things that are attached to it. Most of them are really good, but it's not always really good. So Regina, we appreciate the fact that you've stood up to serve, and I'm glad to hand over the helm to you. So congratulations. We are adjourned.